Have you ever tried to get in shape but you never could? Whether because you weren't consistent enough or because you never could adapt to the plan, or you never had a plan, or you never had a nutrition plan. Maybe you never had a structure, you never adapt to the lifestyle, and you never had friends to that goes with you training. Whatever the reason, if you are actually committed to get in shape, you need to understand what your daily calorie intake is and how many calories do you need to consume per day in order to reach your goals. Not only that, but also understand your macronutrients and how much food do you need to consume per day. So I'm gonna cover that in this video, and I'm gonna explain to you how to make your own nutrition plan to actually lose weight, to build muscle, or to do a corporal recomposition. What you actually have to do first is to know your weight. So let's say your weight is 75 kilos, and you just multiply this by 22. So I already did this and I have the result there. So it's 8,650. So why you do this? This is the Eric Helms method. There are a couple of methods to do this, but this is basically your basal metabolism. It's the amount of calories that you spend per day just by existing, like doing anything. You need 1,650 calories if you are 75 kilos to survive. So from there, you have to calculate how many calories do you spend per day. So there is where the activity level comes in, because the more you move, the more calories your body is gonna use. So for example, we have 4 levels here. If you are sedentary, that number would be 1.5. If you are a bit active, is 1.8, and you get the thing. So sedentary means that you don't move at all. You do almost any exercise. Bit active means that you move or you train just a couple of times per week, 2-3 times per week. Active is that you train at least 3 times per week and that you move at least 3 times per week, meaning you go for a walk, that you go for a run, you go and do some sport at least 3 times per week, and training at least 3 times per week. And very active means that you train 3-4 times per week, intense workout, and you also move almost every day, whether it's walking every day, cycling, running, do whatever sports, right? So you move almost every day or every day. So you just multiply this number by the one you feel that fits with you. So let's say this is by 1.8. So if we multiply this number by 1.8, we have as a result, I already have the number, 2,970. So this is the amount of calories that your body use every day. So it's really simple. If your goal is to lose weight, what you have to do is to this number, you have to do this minus. If you want to build muscle, you have to do plus 200 and 500 calories. Okay? If you want to lose body fat, you have to do this minus 200, 500. And if you want body recomposition, then your goal should be just to be in 200. Don't go over that. And to keep more stable, do a body recomposition more slowly, because it takes more time, but the end result is better. If you have the body where you are, for example, skinny, but you have a belly, then this is the perfect mainly the daily calorie intake that you should aim for. because you're gonna build muscle, you're gonna lose body fat, but you are not gonna go for a extreme weight loss when at the end you're gonna look so skinny. You build muscle and you lose body fat at the same time. If we take this number, 2,970, this means, so let's say you want to do a body recomposition, then your daily calorie intake should be 2,770. We do minus 200 calories. So this is your total calories that you should consume every day to actually lose that body fat. Okay? Now, what do we do with this number? Because now we need the macronutrients and the amount of protein that you need to consume per day. So what we do here is we do 1 gram of protein per every pound of weight. So 75 kilos is 165 pounds. So basically what we do is 75 kilos. So it would be 1 multiplied by 165. It's really simple. So it's 165 grams of protein that you have to consume every day. So every protein has 4 calories. So we multiply 165, that is the grams of protein that we are gonna consume every day. And then what we do is we multiply this by 4, because every grams of protein contains 4 calories. So the result that we're gonna get here, I'm gonna do the calculation, 660. So this is the calories that are gonna come from the proteins. Okay? Now, when we nail the amount of protein that we're gonna eat, then it's really simple, because the only thing that we need to do here is basically, now we have 2,770 calories. That is the amount of, I have it like, it's actually this number, okay? The amount of calories that we're gonna consume every day. So when we do this number and we do this minus 660, that this is the amount of calories that are gonna come from the protein, we have that. So basically it's 2,810. Okay, so this is the amount of calories that we have left. Okay, so we have to consume this in the carbohydrates and in the fats. Okay, very simple. Now what you have to do is really simple. You know the amount of calories that you have to consume per day, and you know the amount of protein that you should consume per day. So now the only thing that you have to do is to, basically, if your goal is to lose weight, you're gonna use 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So for example, we do 1.2 and we do that times 75. We get 90 grams of protein, of fats, in total per day. So if we multiply this actually by 9, because every gram of fat contains 9 calories. So if we do that by 9, we get 880 and 10. That means that we're gonna get the rest of our calories from the carbohydrates. So how do we do that? If we do 810 plus 660, okay, these two numbers, this number and this number, this is the amount of calories from the proteins, this is the amount of calories from the fat, we're gonna get is 8,470. Okay, so what that means is that we're gonna do 2,770, which is the total amount of calories that we have to consume per day, less 8,470. That is the amount of calories that we're gonna consume from the proteins and from the fats. And that number that we have is 8,300. This is the calories left. Calories left that we should consume from the carbohydrates. So here, the only thing that we have to do is basically do this divided by 4, because every gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories. So we do 8,300 divided by 4, and that is 325. So this is the amount of carbohydrates that we're gonna consume per day, like 325 grams. Now, if our goal is to build muscle, we should take only 0.8 grams of fats per kilo of body weight, which means that right here, this number, instead of being 1.2 grams of fat per kilo of body weight, we should do 0.8. So we do 0.8 times 75. So this number of the amount of grams of fats that we should consume if we want to build muscle is a little bit less, and the amount of calories that we should consume, the amount of grams of carbohydrates is gonna be a little bit more, okay? So basically this is how to create your own nutrition system. Now, there are a lot of apps today that you can support yourself to, but this is really useful because you most of the time are blinded if you don't understand why you should consume more fats, less fats, and how to do variations in your nutrition. So the main component is your protein. You should take that and you should repair your muscle damage with that. And from there is just you need to reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you take per day if you're trying to lose weight, because when your body uses two main sources of energy. One is from your storage, the fat you have storage, and the second one is your glucose, and glucose comes from your carbohydrates. So when you cut the carbohydrates, your body is gonna start using the fat that has storage as a energy source. Okay. Now, if you want help with this, write me on Instagram. But I hope that this was useful and you could calculate it effectively. And yeah, subscribe if this was valuable for you, and see you in the next one.